didn't hold back when talking about Jake Paul's boxing career. He accused Jake of setting up fights that seem unfair, especially by choosing much older opponents. Clearly frustrated, Smith said it's time to be real, both in and out of the ring. He highlighted that this isn't a one-time thing, referencing Jake's decision to fight Mike Tyson, who is now 58 years old. Smith called that move not just risky but irresponsible, accusing Jake of offering big paychecks to retired fighters just to create buzz and passion on their names.
The kind of things that I'm talking about is boxing is skill. Let me give y'all an example. Remember Francis Ngannou? Remember that monster? That Nigerian nightmare? Remember him? And then we saw him show up and show a little skill against Tyson Fury, who came there out of shape. What happened when he got into the ring with Anthony Joshua? He got put to sleep much in the same way Nate Robinson got put to sleep. Boxing is a skill. Jake Paul is a professional. He trained. At some point in time, I don't give a damn if it's a light heavyweight. Better be Bivol, a super middleweight, Canelo, Mexican monster, David Benavidez, somebody that actually has a reputation.
Things got strange during the 7th round of Jake Paul's fight with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Some fans noticed that online sources were already showing Jake as a winner before the fight even ended. That set off a storm of doubt. People started questioning how a result could appear before the final bell rang. For many, this wasn't just a tech glitch. It felt like proof that the outcome was already decided. It only added more fuel to the ongoing accusations that Jake's fights aren't on the level.
As you are watching this video, Jake Paul and Julio Cesar Chavez are currently right now in the 7th round of their fight. But when you go to Google and Google the fight, it gives an accurate breakdown of all their past fights. And then it comes to the current fight, and it says that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. loses a unanimous decision to Jake Paul in 2025. The fight has not even played out yet. Yet they're saying that this is the end result as they are fighting right now, currently as it stands. This leans testament to the fact that people state that Jake Paul has his fights fixed. What's your thoughts on this? This is nasty work. Unbelievable. This is Google. Google it.
Fans watching the match were puzzled by Julio's performance. He barely moved or attacked for most of the fight. Given his background and past skills, many expected more. In the last 2 rounds, he threw a few punches, but to viewers, it felt like he was just trying not to look completely out of place. Some fans even started calling Jake Fake Paul, suggesting he wasn't up against a real challenge. To them, the whole event looked more like acting than actual boxing.
Number 40, 6 months. And he's been off the El Mayo Zambada. What we know for a fact is he was useless. He's not useless. Chavez like this, no pace. Last 2 rounds, he had a little bit of pace. Even then, fake pulls cleans on though. Fake pulls, I've been saying this. Fake pulls got no inside. He's got no stand. Let's have a look. Let's work here. He's coming out. He clings on for dear life. He's pushing his punches out. Slap, slap, slap. All this talk power. He's good. Chavez actually looked
on social media. The debate didn't slow down. Many viewers kept saying something felt off. They pointed to how passive Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. was throughout the match. One person even tweeted, "Jake Paul fight, clearly rigged. No way a real boxer sat there for 8 rounds barely throwing a punch." But in the last 2 rounds, he starts to really box and look fresh as hell. Nah, you can't tell me nothing. He was told to lose this fight, and in the end try and get the win. Fans say these types of one-sided matches are becoming more common, especially especially when influencers like Jake Paul are involved. They're flashy, get lots of views, and pull big crowds. But many longtime fans feel the heart of boxing is getting lost. When big names like Chavez Jr. are involved, people expect a fight, not a scripted show. Still, controversy seems to be exactly what keeps this new style of boxing in the spotlight. 5. There's also another point people are making. Maybe the fight wasn't fixed, just lazy. Some argue that Julio didn't train properly and was simply there for money. They point out he only... Jake Paul, on the other hand, has fired back at the critics, especially those questioning his upcoming fight with Mike Tyson. He says the rumors are nothing more than jealousy or fear of his rise in the sport. According to Jake, every time he wins, people cry rig to take away from his hard work. But many fans still have doubts, especially since he keeps facing older or inactive fighters. The fight with Tyson has only made those suspicions louder.
A couple of shocking results. I think that Jake Paul and the cards and the promotional arm were the most fun part of what Jake Paul brings to boxing. Honestly, I think long term, I think that we can all hope for. Jake's fights are this one is borderline atrocious, and kind of the writing was on the wall. But I gotta admit, even I was drank the Kool-Aid. Mainly I drank the Kool-Aid because Chavez Sr., who also is disgraceful for doing this, made me believe, and I think, this has been the problem with Chavez Jr. He's been enabled constantly by the media, the promoters, his family, all this other stuff. So he never really shows up prepared, he never cares, and just shows up to get paid and basically steals the bag every single time, and did it tonight again. The reason I actually thought this fight had a chance was because Chavez Sr. Guaranteed us that his son was motivated and was having a direct training camp. So, as much of a Hall of Fame career as the father had, the con artist, I guess, must run in the family because Junior's been a con artist his whole career, but at least he's been enabled through it, But now the father doing this, you knew already your son wasn't ready. You put your own reputation on the line and sold us this crap. And then ultimately your son throws what most guys were throwing around. He throws it for 10 rounds. It was actually...
Former Olympian and respected boxing coach Tony Jeff joined the conversation. He said that people are too quick to call Jake's fight fake just because they don't want to admit he's winning. Jeff wasn't exactly praising Jake's boxing skills. Instead, he pointed out that Jake's opponents usually aren't top-tier fighters, which should explain why the matches look the way they do. Jeff's main point: just because Jake wins against lesser opponents doesn't automatically mean the fights are staged.
After I beat Mike Tyson, the amount of people saying this is rigged was crazy. They showed this clip of Mike Tyson going to swing at me with a left hook, and he stopped doing it, but saw I had my right hand up. So he would have swung like this, I catch it and shoot. He's leaning forward I could have knocked him out, so that's why he stopped throwing it. And it's they play this one clip and it has literally 50 million views on TikTok, but the average person doesn't.
Despite all the backlash, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. says he's not finished with boxing. He called this fight a small setback, but fans aren't convinced. Many are asking, how can someone who barely threw any punches still call himself an active fighter? His comments after the fight didn't help either. People felt like he didn't take responsibility. Critics argue that he sent the wrong message to younger boxers who once looked up to him.
But he's fixing the fights. It's not fair. It's the embarrassment of boxing. He shouldn't be doing this. It's so embarrassing. He's fighting old men.
Well, is it a fix? No, mate. It's not a fix. Is Julius Cesar Chavez past his best?
Yes. Was Mike Tyson past his best?
Absolutely, mate. Now, if you look at all of the great fighters, look at all of them who are boxing fighters, you can see that they are fighting either one of two people. Either a person on the journey who's going to lose, give the fighter experience, or they're fighting somebody who's going to form champion. And finding these fighting opponents is key in the development of any fighter, not just someone in general, but any fighter. Now, with Jake, because he's got so much attention on him, people are seeing
now Jake is on TV and he's fighting former world champions, which he's fought a few now. I think everyone should give him respect now as a fighter. Find someone like that and put so much pressure on himself as well. And like a good fighter, absolutely not. I think that Jake is very smart. He's picking the right fights, but at the same time, he's developed as a very good fighter now. I'm not denying that he is a very good fighter now. Yes, he did lose that one fight to Tom.
This isn't the first time Jake Paul has been accused of faking a fight. Over the years, people have noticed a pattern. Older opponents, easy wins, and lots of media attention. The upcoming Tyson match only adds to those beliefs. Some fans say the whole event feels like a publicity stunt more than a real contest. While Jake has definitely learned how to grab headlines, it's also made him a magnet for criticism about whether his fights are real or just for show.
Difficult to do in the fight tonight that you wanted to do, but you couldn't.
Our confidence, first round, and come forward. Good. I think when I'm like back, it's not good for me. So if I'm fighting again, like I doing this. So take the punches, come forward, and try to be more inside, because when I see him inside, his punches don't have the same power. So I think I do a mistake in these things, like fight a distance.
Yeah, that was what I was gonna ask. I kept asking myself, why isn't he working on the inside, throwing body shots, hook, upper, you know?
Yes. So maybe more fights, a little more confidence.
The Tyson fight has attracted some very troubling claims. According to reports, there may be a script outlining how each fighter should behave during the match, from how to throw punches to win the whole back. Some even say Tyson could lose money if he knocks Jake out too early. If true, these conditions suggest the whole thing might be set up to make sure Jake comes out looking good and avoids any real damage.
Important and quite serious news in the combat sports world. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, it's come out now. It was rigged. I can't believe it. You know, you have to question the validity of boxing these days when you can't trust two professionals to get in the ring and do their best against each other. And instead you find out Mike Tyson pulling these punches, not trying to hurt Jake Paul. Absolute disgrace. I thought better.
Accusations like these are nothing new for Jake Paul. Many fans believe he pays his opponents not just to show up, but to make sure they don't actually beat him. These suspicions come from the same patterns repeated over and over again. Low punch counts, no knockdowns, and weird endings. After beating Julio, Jake suddenly jumped into the top 15 cruiserweight rankings. It shocked a lot of people, especially given how little resistance he faced. To critics, this looked more like a marketing win than a true sporting achievement.
I already know I'm mad about this stuff. I really wasn't going to talk about it because I already felt like it was a setup. But when Trick Daddy Dollars posted this on Instagram, it really just confirmed and solidified everything. So, Trick Daddy Dollars posted this on Instagram, and I'm going to read it to social media. So, it said the rules for the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight are designed to favor Jake Paul. These include: the rules are extremely favorable to Jake Paul. The contract will incentivize Mike Tyson to lose and give Jake Paul an opportunity to choose himself as a winner. The first stipulation in the contract will punish Tyson for knocking out Jake because he is paid on a sliding scale per round. Sorry. If Tyson knocks Jake out in the first round, he would receive no money. If he knocks him out in the second round, he would only make a small amount of cash. For Tyson to make the most money, he needs to survive all 8 rounds, which means avoiding knocking Jake Paul out.
photographers went further, pointing out that Julio's body language seemed forced. The few punches he did throw looked soft, delayed, and lacked any rhythm. At times, it felt like he was acting more than fighting. Strange behavior, like biting his gloves, only added to suspicion. These moments didn't feel like real boxing. Instead, they gave off a vibe of something pre-rehearsed. Whether coincidence or not, this is the kind of thing that keeps raising questions about Jake Paul's matches. Still, not everyone believes the fights are fake. Some say people just don't want to admit that Jake is actually doing well. They argue that his hard work is being ignored because of where he came from, despite the negative talk of others like Adam Smith. See Jake's path as a new kind of success story, from YouTube to the boxing ring. Jake has built himself into a headline name. Controversy seems to follow him, but so does attention, whether you view him as a real fighter or a well-branded showman. Jake Paul has carved out a place in the modern world of crossover boxing.
Then you want us to respect Jake Paul as a fighter, but how do you want me to respect this man as a boxer, and he basically pays his opponents to lose? Don't you didn't want to see that? All the 80s babies and people born in earlier times did not want to see that fight. And I think if I knew these rules, which I believe in, these rules make a lot of sense to why Mike Tyson. And it's like, why do you think people want to continue to watch a Jake Paul fight when every time it's going to always be in his favor because people are paid to lose? Respectfully, that's not real boxing. That's not real fighting. I'm sorry. And I know for Tyson, he's retired anyway. He's still the champ. This fight didn't mean anything, but it meant everything for Mike Tyson. And I'm just like, I'm disappointed. I wasn't even going to come on social media, but like I said, once I saw Trick Daddy post that, I was like,